Imagine a world where the quietest observers around us, the ones we often overlook in our daily rush, could suddenly speak. Not with human words, maybe, but with a kind of profound, unspoken wisdom. What secrets would they share from their silent vantage points? What startling truths might they reveal about us, about the way we live? Today, we're embarking on a really unique and I think quite thought-provoking deep dive. We're exploring this idea of the secret language of flowers, but not just as a quaint Victorian thing. We're looking at it from a deeper perspective. What if they could actually talk? Just think about it for a second. Flowers, they don't have a voice like we do. No complaints, no shouts of joy or despair. And yet they're everywhere. They're woven into the very fabric of human life. They've seen it all, haven't they? The grandest celebrations, the quietest sorrows hidden away. From the most pristine garden to that forgotten crack in the sidewalk, they're just there, observing. Our exploration today, it really draws heavily from this profound piece of writing that asks the question, what if flowers could talk? What would they say about us? So our mission today is to really unpack this poetic, almost haunting question. We want to use it as a portal, maybe a lens, to examine how deeply connected we are to the natural world, what we might be ignoring in its silence, and what these silent observers might reveal about our own humanity. We expect to unearth some truly surprising insights, I think, and some real emotional nuggets from this source material.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating about this premise, about this whole inquiry really, is how that seemingly simple question, what if flowers could talk? It just opens up so many profound layers about our relationship with nature, which we often, take for granted. And it goes beyond just biology into our emotional lives too. It's not just about guessing what they would say if they had our kind of voice. It's maybe more critically about what their enduring silence already tells us about ourselves. Their silence, it's almost like a mirror, isn't it? Reflecting back our motivations, our anxieties, even how we project our own stuff onto them, often completely missing their own intrinsic existence.
You've really hit on something crucial there. Let's dive deeper into that. Flowers are so intrinsically woven into our biggest emotional moments. They really are. They seem to pop up everywhere we feel something deeply, almost like these silent stage props that somehow soak up the energy of the scene. They bear witness to our rawest feelings. I mean, I invite you, our listener, just think about it. Where do you typically see flowers when human emotions are really running high? At the very beginning, maybe. A birth. Or at the very end, like laid on a casket. Moments of huge joy, weddings, graduations. Or, the opposite, profound despair, illness, loss. They're just universally present, framing these big milestones.
Precisely. The source really underscores this universal presence. Flowers are literally placed at graves, right? A final tribute, a visible expression of grief. They're clutched by lovers, symbolizing affection, passion. They're tossed in celebration, these arcs of color marking pure joy. And of course, worn in quiet mourning at funerals, that solemn acknowledgement of sorrow. They become the tangible representation of our most intangible feelings, making our inner world visible. And the source poses this really poignant and maybe slightly uncomfortable hypothetical question. It makes you pause. If they could speak, they might ask us, why do you give us only when you feel love or guilt? That isn't just a casual thought. It digs deep into the complex, often contradictory reasons behind our actions. It forces us to look beyond the surface, doesn't it? It makes you wonder, okay, when we give flowers, is it always from this place of genuine, overflowing affection, spontaneous joy or deep care? Or is it sometimes, an act of social obligation? A ritual we do because it's just what you do in certain situations. And the source hints at maybe a more unsettling possibility.
Could it sometimes be about remorse? A way to soothe our own guilt? A silent apology when words are too hard? Imagine, like the source might suggest, a partner coming home late, holding a bunch of perfect roses. What's really being communicated there? What does that silent acceptance by the rose mean? Is it pure love? Or is it maybe an attempt to smooth things over? A veiled plea for forgiveness? The flower, just by being beautiful and silent, becomes this passive vessel for whatever we pour into it, whether it's pure affection or something much more tangled. It really pushes us to examine our own intentions.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where the source gets really interesting, moving beyond those abstract questions. It gives us these incredibly poignant, almost cinematic examples of flowers as emotional historians. Capturing these vivid snapshots, it really delves into their role as these silent chroniclers. Okay, so imagine a single rose. Once vibrant, maybe part of an anniversary bouquet, now wilted, forgotten in a corner somewhere. Its petals, once soft, now brittle, curling inward. The scent, gone. Just that faint, earthy smell of decay. What does this quiet witness reveal? Fading passion, sure, but maybe also neglect, promises forgotten, or just the unavoidable passage of time in a relationship. The rose, in its quiet decay, becomes this testament to what was and what isn't anymore. Then think about this other image the source uses, a simple daisy, plucked by a child's small hand for a mother who's crying maybe silently on the kitchen floor. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's not about grand gestures, it's about pure comfort, pure innocence, offering this deep, unspoken support in a moment of raw despair. The daisy, it doesn't judge the tears, it just offers itself. A small piece of love. Its tiny petals hold so much weight in that moment. And then there's the sunflower. The source paints this picture of one blooming outside a hospital window, always facing the light. Day after day, it sees the quiet prayers whispered inside, the anxious waiting, it just stands there. A symbol of hope, of resilience, of this silent empathy during really tough times. These aren't just plants. They're, as the source puts it so beautifully, these silent chroniclers of our human condition. Micro-histories of our deepest moments. It really does make you reflect on your own life, doesn't it, when you hear these scenarios? Just take a second and imagine if a flower grew in every single place you've ever cried, every spot where emotion just spilled over. What would your personal garden look like? What stories would those flowers tell about your journey, your joys, your sorrows? It's a powerful way to connect the outer world of nature to our own inner landscape, suggesting nature witnesses us even when we don't realize it.
Absolutely. And if we broaden that out, connect it to the bigger picture, it becomes clear that flowers function as these silent, living archives of our collective human experience.
Yeah.
Our tears, our triumphs, they're the unblinking chroniclers, absorbing the emotional energy of our lives without judging, just by being there, by observing. And this capacity for silent witness leads to an even deeper question the source raises. Is silence itself a form of wisdom? What have we in our constantly noisy world? What have we missed by tuning out the natural world? A world that witnesses so much, that just is without demanding our attention. Maybe their silence isn't an absence of communication at all. Maybe it's their greatest lesson. A mirror reflecting our own turmoil, and maybe also our deepest solace. It suggests true wisdom often lies not in what's said, but in what's observed and quietly expressed without words.
That's a really powerful thought. Okay, let's pivot a bit now, moving beyond that immediate emotional role, because the source also describes this fundamental, almost seismic shift in how we relate to plants to flora over time. Centuries ago, our bond with flowers, with all plant life really, was fundamentally different from today. It wasn't just about pretty things. It was about survival, knowledge, deep connection.
You're absolutely right. The source paints this picture of a time, not actually that long ago in the grand scheme of things, when humans lived fully immersed in the plant world, not just in manicured gardens. Wildflowers weren't just pretty. They were vital markers of seasons. Their blooming and fading literally shaped calendars, told you when to plant, when to harvest. Plants weren't just decorations you bought in a shop. They were deeply integrated into daily life as essential medicines. Healing properties passed down generations. They were powerful symbols, too, in culture, spirituality, folklore. Revered sometimes as entities with their own spirit. Think about calendula for inflammation, or the sacred lotus in the East. They were utterly essential for survival, health, spirit, understanding the world's rhythms. They were partners in existence, really, not just nice accessories.
Okay, so given that deep, integrated historical role, how does the source show the modern relationship as so different? What's been lost? The contrast is pretty stark, isn't it? Today, the source highlights you find flowers in air-conditioned offices, a fleeting splash of color in a sterile box, often trimmed, packaged in plastic, maybe admired for 5 seconds on Instagram, glanced at on a counter, and then, often they just wilt unseen in a bin. Their purpose served as a momentary decoration, a commodity. If flowers could talk now, the source suggests they might lament, we were never meant to be just decorations. We are messengers, healers, timekeepers. Our purpose is life. They might also wonder, maybe with bewilderment, why we cut them down right when they're most alive, severing them from the earth just to own them briefly. And this leads to that truly provocative question from the source, the one that really makes you examine your own perceptions. Do you love beauty, or do you just fear silence?
That is such a crucial point. It really gets to the heart of our modern disconnect, I think. The source forces us to ask, have we, in our pursuit of convenience and fleeting aesthetics, have we stripped flowers of their intrinsic value? Reduce them to just ornamental objects, instead of recognizing their deeper roles, ecological linchpins, sources of solace, quiet observers. And when the source asks that question, do you love beauty, or do you just fear silence, it pushes us to confront something about ourselves. Are we genuinely comfortable with nature's quiet presence? Or does our human need for constant stimulation, for control, for something we can frame and filter? Does that make us uneasy with the deep, resonant silence of nature? It raises this important question about what we're missing out on. Are we failing to perceive a whole different kind of communication, a quiet wisdom, by treating nature as purely ornamental, or just something to consume? It speaks to this fundamental shift where utility and visual appeal have kind of pushed aside a deeper understanding of nature's value. The source implies that maybe our discomfort with natural silence is a symptom of a deeper discomfort with our own internal quiet, our own thoughts. Perhaps we fill our lives with noise and visuals to avoid listening to the deeper messages the world and maybe our own hearts are trying to send. It's a reminder that true appreciation often needs stillness, requires open receptivity.
Building on that shifting, often troubled relationship, the source takes us somewhere really impactful, urgent even. It doesn't shy away from exploring what flowers, these silent witnesses, might say about our larger, sometimes devastating impact on the earth itself. The text uses powerful, almost heartbreaking imagery, both of destruction and also, remarkably, of this enduring, defiant resilience in nature.
Indeed, it paints a vivid, unsettling picture. It prompts us to think. What would wildflowers, those ancient survivors, say about bulldozers carving through forests? About endless concrete replacing green landscapes? The imagery is visceral. Imagine the silent scream of orchids as rainforests fall, their intricate homes just erased. Or consider poppies, symbols of remembrance, now cursing the bombs that turned vibrant fields into desolate graves, witnessing conflict's environmental toll. And the source culminates this with an incredibly powerful hypothetical. Imagine a lone flower, maybe withered, standing before a world leader, declaring with his profound authority, "You hold the power to destroy what took the earth 1,000 years to grow, and yet you forget we even exist." Wow, that statement. It's not just an accusation, it's a chilling reminder of the immense responsibility we hold, and often our tragic lack of awareness about the consequences. It highlights the staggering scale of our impact versus the fragility of these natural systems.
That imagery is incredibly stark, a powerful indictment. But like you said, despite that powerful depiction of destruction, the source also shines a light on this incredible, almost defiant resilience. It's not all doom and gloom. The text gives these poignant examples. Flowers growing back after wildfires, pushing through scorched earth. That signifies renewal, yes, but also this tenacious life force. Nature's power to heal, even after huge trauma. It talks about them surviving in the harshest places, cracks in sidewalks and derelict urban areas, but looming amidst rubble, showcasing unbelievable adaptability. And maybe most poignantly, it speaks of them returning, season after season, year after year, persistently, quietly hoping humans will finally notice again, reconnect. This speaks not just to nature's spirit, but maybe a quiet hope for recognition from us.
And if we connect this to the science, we are undeniably living in the Anthropocene, an age defined by human impact. Humanity as a geological force. The source really highlights the crisis within this era. Pollinators, essential for, over 75% of flowering plants, they're dying at alarming rates. Bees, butterflies, even bats. Without them, the whole dance just stops. Global temperatures are rising relentlessly. Delicate flower cycles are shifting, disrupting entire ecosystems in cascading ways. If flowers could talk, the source suggests, they might not immediately blame us, but they definitely ask urgently, do you even see us anymore? Do you get the vital role we play? And more critically, they'd issue this stark warning, a plea for understanding that's really about survival. Do you know that our bloom is your breath? That without us, there was no food, no color, no bees, no birds, basically no life. And this isn't just the flowers being self-serving. It's a plea for the entire ecosystem that depends on them, which includes us, humanity. It underscores the absolute interconnectedness of all life. Without flowers, the food web collapses. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. And it makes you reflect. Would flowers, with their inherent wisdom and resilience, would they forgive us for the pollution, the plastic, the pesticides we inflict? That question invites a deeper moral thinking about our actions and their ripple effects, urging us to see ourselves as stewards, not just inhabitants.
Okay, so we've explored their role as emotional witnesses, the troubling shift in our relationship, and their imagined cries against environmental damage. Having journeyed through the beauty and the crisis, what does this mean for the future? The source, thankfully, doesn't just leave us in despair. It presents this powerful image of a potential future, but also, crucially, illuminates a path forward.
It offers a stark, almost prophetic warning first, a dystopian vision that really makes you stop and think. Imagine a day, maybe not so far off. A child walked through a vast city. No flowers anywhere, none. Just screens, noise, choking fumes, a desolate, sterile landscape where nature's pulse is silenced, erased. And in this awful silence, suddenly one tiny dandelion, pushing miraculously through a crack in the concrete, somehow speaks. Its voice, symbolic, yes, but clear. Where did you go? Why did you stop planting hope? Whoa. That single voice, real or imagined, the source presents it as something that could change everything. It's not just about the lack of literal flowers. It's a metaphor for the absence of hope, beauty, and that vital connection to nature that sustains us. It implies this deep, tragic loss, not just for the planet, but for our own humanity.
That's a chilling vision, absolutely. But the hope it offers is just as powerful. Let's really unpack this profound conclusion the source brings us to. Maybe we don't need flowers to speak. Maybe we just need to listen with our eyes, our hearts, and our habits. This isn't about waiting for some magical conversation. It's a powerful, actionable call. A call to heightened awareness, conscious action. It's about cultivating a deeper, more respectful relationship with nature without demanding it speak our language. It's a shift from just hearing words to truly perceiving the truths already being communicated all around us.
That's it, exactly. And the source gives us kind of blueprint for this. Listening with our eyes. That means going beyond just quick glances, really observing, noticing the intricate pattern on a petal, the way a bee moves, the cycles of growth, the subtle signs of distress or resilience, seeing beyond the aesthetic, listening with our hearts. That means fostering real empathy, appreciating nature for its own sake, not just what it gives us, recognizing its intrinsic value. It's about finding that solace, that inspiration that nature silently offers, that spiritual connection. And then listening with our habits. This is maybe the most crucial, actionable part for all of us. It implies deliberately changing our daily behaviors, reducing waste, supporting pollinators in our gardens or balconies, making consumer choices that nurture, not destroy. This shifts us from being passive observers to active participants, stewards. And this approach also makes you wonder, maybe plants already communicate in ways we just don't grasp yet. What if there's complex biochemical signaling or energetic communication within ecosystems that we're just missing because of our human-centric view? It points to this vast, unexplored area of natural intelligence. And thinking about their natural purpose, you could ask, what would a rose silently convey about being genetically modified? Made to last longer in a vase, maybe losing its scent, its natural form, its ecosystem role, all for our convenience. It really challenges our inventions and makes us question our priorities.
What an incredible journey this has been, thinking through the hypothetical voices of flowers. We've explored their profound role as emotional historians, witnessing our most intimate moments. We've heard their imagined cries against environmental destruction and seen their amazing resilience. Ultimately, we've seen how their silence that sees everything offers these incredibly deep insights into our own human nature, our motivations, and our often complicated relationship with the planet that sustains us.
And the source leaves us with this really impactful final thought. It resonates deeply, serving as a powerful call to reflect. If flowers could talk, they wouldn't demand, they'd remind. And that reminder, that quiet wisdom in every petal, every cycle is this: you are part of this earth, not its owner, not its master, just another bloom, brief, beautiful, and connected to us all. So the question for all of us living in this fast-paced, noisy world, are we truly listening? Are we hearing the subtle reminders of the profound wisdom that the natural world and its silent beauty offers every single day? What will you choose to hear? And how might that deeper listening change the way you move through the world, recognizing your own place as just another bloom connected to everything?